Hello again. Welcome to 5 Minute Friday. My name is Mark Jordan. This is somewhat my maiden voyage into this 5 Minute Friday video series. I am a senior software developer and software development team lead here at CDH. Today, we're going to discuss briefly about agile software development, and I'm gonna compare it a little bit to Waterfall. We sometimes get some questions asking us what the difference is. We sometimes throw these terms out, and people are like, I don't know what you mean. We're not going on a nature trip. I don't know what this waterfall thing is. So I'm going to give you, this is only 5 minutes, so I could talk a long time about this, but just going to give you some ideas as to what agile is, and then again compare it to waterfall. So what is agile really? When CDH says that agile is the way that we do development here, it's basically an approach as to how we produce a piece of software. We don't just go out and just willy-nilly create something and hope you like it, right? There's a whole process behind it, and it could be a very long process or it can be a very iterative approach. And so I just want to give you a sort of an example. We're embarking on the holidays, at least at this time right now. We're heading into Thanksgiving, so just want to give you an idea of what it means to be a waterfall approach for software development. Waterfall approach means you basically design it, you plan it, you produce it, and then you're done, right? There's no going back, there's no anything in between, there's no iteration. It's just like you start, you boom, 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 you finish. And so imagine, if you will, that you're going to do this formal Thanksgiving dinner, and you have 2 months to plan for it, and then you're going to execute it in the final couple weeks. But then Uncle Arthur comes to you and says, well, my doctor says I can't eat turkey. Well, at this point, what do? I mean, you're in this process. If it's a waterfall process, it's a do or die, right? It's you're going to do it, and if somebody throws a wrench in the works, you got to go back to the drawing board. So in this instance, if Uncle Arthur can't eat turkey, well, he might be bringing his own meal, Thanksgiving dinner. Another example might be for Thanksgiving, rather for a waterfall approach, is that maybe Uncle Arthur, not Uncle Arthur, you go out and you're going to buy this turkey. You planned it. You get the best turkey. Maybe you're getting 2 because you're having everybody over. You're a great cook. And so you go out to the store, and all of a sudden you're finding out, hey, they're out of turkeys. Nobody's got turkeys. There's a shortage of turkeys. Avian flu? I don't know. What's going on here? So now what do you do? Well, if it's a waterfall approach, you're gonna cancel Thanksgiving. So basically what I'm trying to tell you here is that waterfall approach is a plan once and execute, and if something goes wrong, you basically have to turn back and start all over again. And so think of it as a true waterfall. If you've got water cascading down these multiple steps, the water can't go back up. There's no way to push that water back up. It's not possible. So, in this right-hand picture, we've got water again falling. This is my family actually this past summer, standing in a waterfall. Coolest thing ever. If you want to know where that is, it's up in Munising. Ping me. I'll let you know. Coolest thing ever. Kids loved it. But in a waterfall approach, you're basically going downhill. You can't go back hill. The water's coming down. You can't push it back up. You discover, you design, you develop, you test it, and you decide whether or not you're going to deliver it, and then you deliver it. But there's no in between. If something is in the wrench, there's a wrench in the works, you're done. You got to go back to discovery and start all over again. And so here's what I mean by agile, right? If you're unfamiliar with the concept of agile or agility, this is not us, by the way, programming. We can't do that. None of us here can do that. I am just not that nimble anymore. But here's what it means to be agile. So you'll notice that we have something what's called sprints, right? So what we've done in an agile approach is break it down into many software development cycles. And then within each cycle, we do those same steps that you saw for a waterfall approach, but we do it multiple times. And what this affords us to do, especially if your sprints are 1 or 2 weeks long, is it allows you to keep evaluating the product. So you sit there and you're still discovering, you're still designing, you're still developing, and then testing or deciding whether or not you're going to deliver, and then you deliver. So each sprint has a product that is actually going out and is usable by your client or your audience. And so what, again, this offers you to do is break it up into multiple chunks, have multiple deliveries, and if you have a product somewhere along the line that's suitable, good enough, or is just fitting all the requirements, you can stop right there. You don't have, in the example of the turkey dinner, if Uncle Arthur says he can't have turkey, well, quick, let's go to the store, let's revamp, let's get a ham instead. We'll reconfigure all of our side dishes to complement this ham dinner, and then let's move on and have a grand, glorious Thanksgiving dinner still, right? And so there's options. You can always, at the end of a sprint, figure out, did any of the requirements change? Are there new requirements? Does this requirement not even, is it relevant anymore? It's been a year since we started this project. One of the things about waterfall development is, and I can speak to this because, well, I'm not a young pup, is I believe it was put together by people who did a bunch of hardware stuff, and they just adopted it in the software industry way back when the IBMs were big and they used rooms to house what they needed. So in that regard, they took a process that was working and tried to use it. But you know, software development was kind of expensive back then, so it was somewhat needed. In today's day and age, software development is not that expensive, at least as far as time and the tools that are needed and used to produce what needs to be produced. These iterations actually come easy. The iterations are put out in record time. You can do more with less tools. So it almost makes sense to break it down into mini chunks and actually have that be produced in an iterative cycle and in an agile. Why did I say agile? Because it's that Christmas story. Fragile. Oh, no, never mind. I don't have an audience to react to here. You're all online. Agile. It's Italian. So anyway, agile approach. That's what it is. You're being agile in how you're producing something and providing to your target audience. And so just to wrap it up, we have, you know, what is agile or what is waterfall? And I just want to stress the point. You're going to hear some terms out there that agile might be a methodology, and it's really not. It's just a concept. It's an approach or a framework that allows for you to say, hey, we listen to clients, we can adjust, we're agile, we can pivot, we can change, we can stop right now, and we can still provide something that is useful as a software product. In order to add a methodology to that, you would kind of figure out what your process is, and Scrum actually is what we use here at CDH, is a whole nother subject that I would love to get into on another call for a 5-Minute Friday. But that methodology is what coordinates and organizes and puts out in a process-oriented fashion your product using all those D steps that we showed earlier here, right? So the methodology is actually what coordinates that, and the agile approach is really just a concept or a theory of how it gets to nothing to something. And so that's the big nutshell of agile versus waterfall. Ask us more about it. We love the agile framework, if you will. We love trying to be something to our clients that is not all-encompassing in one big kit and caboodle. We want to give them iterative approach, give them slices of functionality as they need it, and it works well for them and for us. It saves actually the client money, believe it or not, and it actually produces software that we can be proud of because we know we're doing it in stages and to the liking of our clients. And so that wraps up for me. CDH would love to wish you guys all blessings for you all in the holiday season coming up. And we wish you happy Thanksgiving, Merry Christmas, and Happy New Year. Thanks, y'all.